All right, take a look at your screen and tell us if you think these packages look any different. Can you tell the cookies apart? Lawyers for a major snack food company are concerned that a lot of people can't, and they are taking German grocery store chain Aldi to court over it. Aldi is popular for their affordable store brand alternatives to well-known products. So Nutter Butter for one, Oreo another. Snack food manufacturer Mondelez International says that the packaging for the Aldi alternatives to Oreo, Chips Ahoy, Nutter Butter, Wheat Thins, and other snacks are blatant copies that could deceive and confuse customers. This is not the first time that the grocery store chain has faced these accusations. There have been numerous accusations of Aldi copying other brands' packaging in the UK as well. The UK's High Court threw out one case brought by a cider company last year. Joining us now, Misty Marris, trial attorney and legal analyst. Hi, Misty. It's good to see you. Imitation, it's the greatest form of flattery, right? So what's the legal muster test here?
What I think is interesting, Marni, is on TikTok, there's a whole world of dupes, right? So we always see something that's being duped in maybe a less expensive version of a product that we are all familiar with. But the legal test comes down to a few different elements. First, a packaging of the product that is challenging something that aesthetically looks like it. It has to have a certain level of distinctiveness, meaning it has to be something that has a certain look that's just more than just that it looks similar to it, that it's a distinctive packaging. And then really what it comes down to is something likely to deceive and confuse the customer. And that's really where the legal test is. So here in this particular lawsuit, the allegation is not only is it likely to deceive the customer, but it's actually intentional, that the Aldi brands are slogan is like brands, only cheaper, so that the intent is to actually capitalize on the reputation of these well-known products by making their products look very similar to it. So it's going to come down to those elements of what does this mean for the customer? Is the customer going to be confused? And also, is there anything to that intentional element that this is actually being done on purpose in order to drive up sales?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an Oreo connoisseur, so I can tell that one apart pretty quickly.
Me too. I was thinking that.
The Nutter Butter one, I also think that one. The Wheat Thin one, though, I think that one kind of has me. But can't they argue that consumers know that these are knockoffs, right? I mean, isn't the whole point of Aldi, the premise of it, the appeal that it's cheaper, not the name brands?
Right. So there's a lot of really, really sophisticated legal defenses that come up because we're talking about it. We're looking at it from the layman's eye. We're saying, okay, which ones look similar? Which ones have something that's more distinctive? And Marni, you nailed it. The first defense that will be raised is that it's not likely to confuse the customer. Look at these Oreos have an iconic, it says Oreos on it. You know, the other package says original, that a customer is not going to be confused by that. But there's also going to be challenges to whether or not the design itself. You know, some of these allegations are rooted in trademark, so the design is trademark. But then you also have these allegations of what's called trade dress. And trade dress goes beyond just the image. It's about the overall aesthetic of the package. It's basically like you're dressing up your product to look like ours. So these pictures are actually going to be a large part of the case. And there's going to be a lot of arguments about what is actually distinctive enough in order to have these protections. And also, again, it comes down to what will confuse the customer. What I do think is interesting, in order to show intent, this lawsuit says that the company has actually contacted Aldi. I know you spoke about another case in the UK, but contacted Aldi, and some products they actually changed, while others they continue to sell based on these arguments. So it's really going to be a product by product review. Maybe they're successful with respect to one, but others are allowed to continue to be sold. So this is going to be an interesting case to watch.
And I get the idea, like the color choices of the packaging, right? For the Oreos, it's blue with the black. I mean, everything looks the same. I hear that. But will they have to also prove, in order, you know, the name brands to win a case like this, that it has impacted their bottom line? Would they have to show that their sales have been impacted because of these lower lookalikes?
Yes, so there's two elements to civil lawsuits just generally. The first is liability, meaning is Aldi going to be liable, meaning that they did infringe on some of these rights that the company is raising. So that's one piece. If there is liability, the next step is you have to prove damages. And damages is going to be a calculation of what sales they lost because of Aldi's sale of these similar products. So that's sometimes a difficult calculation to show because you might argue that there's a customer that goes to Aldi is maybe a different customer than may buy Oreos. So there's going to be a lot of arguments. And guess what that comes down to? We always talk about it. Experts get in there and look at the financials and help to establish that there's actual damage. But keep in mind, the lawsuit asks for another thing too. So one is monetary damages. And to your point, that has to be proven that there was a loss based on this, the causal connection. They're also asking for an injunction, meaning that Aldi would have to stop selling some of these products immediately to prevent any future harm. So all of that is part of this lawsuit. And just a quick side note, some of this stuff is a little sticky now because of AI and how AI is impacting the development of imagery, and whether or not that's going to be an element in this case, I don't know. But there's a lot of talk about AI in this particular field. So maybe expect to see some of that, if not in this case, in future cases that relate to these types of issues.
For sure. Good point. All I know is if they need a taste tester to help distinguish, sign me up.
Yep, we're there.
All right, Misty, thanks.
Thanks, Marni.